Hi, I'm June the Happy Thai Girl. After all these years, I cannot believe that I have yet to show you how to make delicious Thai green curry served on steaming rice noodles, and then top it off with some crunchy bean sprouts. So yummy. So let's just do it. Thai green curry is coming up next on Cooking Maisie with June, brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Hello everyone, welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June. I cannot believe I have yet to make, after all these years, Thai green curry for you. So I am going to today. So we'll start off with some boiling water. I just put a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt. Now curry, any curry can be served with just rice, but today my husband actually loves green curry compared to all the other curries, and he loves it on rice noodles. So, that was some scissors. So rice noodles, there's all kinds of brands, but for this curry, I love to serve it on like a wider noodle. So in Pad Thai noodles, rice noodles are also used for Pad Thai, but it's a little bit thinner. But that's all preferential. You could use any size for any of the Pad Thai, anything like that. So it comes something like this, and about a 13 and a half to 14 ounce packet. But this does not matter how much you make, but usually because the curry has a separate serving, and so, but usually this serves about 4 or 5 adults, depending on how much you eat, of course. So I have it boiling, and I'm just going to start the noodles. I'm gonna have to watch that because it takes only like 5 or 6 minutes, depending on the texture you like. So I'm gonna keep it on high and let it boil. Okay. There you go. All right. You should know the drill. Curry, we prep it first. It's the same thing. It's just a different type of curry paste. You're gonna die how easy this is. It's like easier than tacos because most of the spice is already in here. And so we're just going to start out with Macy's boneless skinless chicken. I love this trimmed typed one because it's all ready to go. So they have that available at Macy's. I just have to trim a couple things, I guess. And I have usually what I like to do, because I like to, in like a prep ahead tip, is I like to just get like a bulk type of boneless, skinless. And when I have time, I just plan it. I get a big bulk and then I slice it thinly, about 2 pound or 1 pound, whatever, and put it in freezer bags. So when you're ready for a quick meal, you just grab that frozen, already cut up chicken and serve it and thaw it and cook it. I just throw it in the microwave or in the refrigerator or in a bowl of water, the proper way to do it. So I just trimmed off all these little things bug me. So as you know, I want every bite to be really good. So I take all the little gristly things that I don't like. And this is not so thick. Sometimes you get the boneless, skinless breasts that are just really, really big. So I just go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and slice it thin like this. Okay, so we need about 1 pound. Some people like more chicken. I don't know if you notice when you serve curry or some soup, people tend to just like try to scoop out the meat only, and they don't get that curry sauce, which I feel like, taste the curry sauce, it's so good with your rice and your noodles. But some people you could add maybe 1/4 more pound, but not too much, otherwise it will change the flavor of the recipe a little bit, and you may have to add a little bit more of like salt or a little bit more fish sauce to flavor the chicken. So I'm quickly going to just cut it really thinly. Honestly, the best way to really, really make it thin, not the best way, but just another way is if you really, really like thin chicken, I would also I would partially freeze your chicken, and then it'll just it'll be so easy to slice thinly. More easy to slice it thinly. There you go. Okay, so we're just gonna cut up the chicken. Sometimes I like to cut it crossway to make smaller pieces. And that piece is gonna go here. I'm gonna check the rice noodles. Give me a sec. Okay. Let's check the rice noodles. Okay, so it's coming along. So you do want to stir occasionally because like any noodle, it will stick to the bottom, and rice noodle tend to do that more than the flour for some reason. So I'm just going to yeah, see, this is still really hard. So I'll let that boil some more. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that was only like this a couple minutes. All right, so we have our chicken. I'm gonna set it aside right here, and then I'm gonna cut our veggies. Oh, I gotta grab my veggies. All right, so we've got our veggies, and you can use any colorful veggies because it's gonna be like a light green. I suppose green curry, you could serve it for St. Patrick's Day instead of just green eggs and ham. You could have green eggs and ham for breakfast, and then green curry for lunch, or just a salad for lunch and a green curry for dinner instead of the same old stuff. What do people use on St. Patrick's Day? They do corned beef hash or something like that. Corned beef, potatoes. All right, so I'm just cutting up some onion when I'm ready to do for my curry. Watching my noodles a little bit. It's fine. I'm just gonna cut that off. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my onions. It doesn't have to be like small pieces. I just do like chunks like that. Nothing fancy. And then I just cut it like that. I got some peeling on my hand. Okay, and then pull that aside. While I did that, okay, I'm gonna cut that little piece off. I'm gonna go ahead and start my pan while this to get it hot. So I'll start my pan right here. It's getting a little hot. And then add a little bit of oil. Maybe, I would say about 1 to 2 tablespoons. This is a non-stick pan, so it shouldn't really matter that much, but I do like to have a little bit of fat to add a little bit extra flavor because this boneless, skinless chicken has no fat, and so it needs a little flavor, right? So I'm gonna let that heat up for just a sec and cut up my other veggies. So I hate cutting just like circles in these zucchinis and squash. I don't know if you are familiar with how I cut things. So I like to make it more like little stripes because just visually, I just like different shapes. And the circle ones or the semi-circle ones just bug me. I don't know why we have a habit of doing that, but it's so just as easy or not to just cut it a little different shape. So I'm gonna do squash in this one. You could use green beans. So you see I have different colors here. So on my zucchini, I'm gonna show you my zucchinis, the yellow and the green. You cut about a 1.5 inch length like that, see? Well, that one's a little short, but it's okay. And then you just cut it, excuse me, let me move this. Lengthwise like that, so you have this. Okay, I think like my oil is heating up. Okay. So my oil is heating up, so I'm going to go ahead, and add my chicken. Some people like to put the curry paste first, but I feel like if I add my chicken, I can add my curry paste with it, and then it'll help flavor my chicken some when I add my spices with it. Okay, so I'm gonna add my chicken, and then now green curry paste compared to yellow. Well, red is a little spicy, and green is very similar to the red where it's a spicier type. The massaman is more mild, and the yellow is not as spicy as red and green, but so I like to start the other ones with about, like the yellow and the massaman, I start with 3 tablespoons. But because this is spicier, you can always add more if you want it spicy, but it's hard to take it out. So I'm gonna start with about 2 tablespoons of green curry, so we won't have it too spicy. But if you're not afraid, go for it if you love it. All right, so we got 2 tablespoons of curry right there. So I'm gonna stir that together with the chicken. You see how I moved the curry paste with the oil there and let it kind of get fragrant, but at the same time it's browning my chicken, okay? So I'm just gonna do it like that. If you want, you can also, again, like I said, get the paste more fragrant first, so that's all it is. So I'm gonna let that cook a minute while I finish off with my zucchini. And then, you don't have to cook the chicken all the way, because when you simmer, when you add the coconut milk and the chicken broth, you're going to be simmering it some more. And so boneless, skinless chicken cooks so quickly that you don't really need to, I mean, even if it's a little pink, it'll be fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, we have this going here. I'm gonna go ahead and add my fish sauce so I can flavor the chicken at the same time. About 2 teaspoons. 1 and 2-ish. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of, I'm gonna pour it in there because I didn't want to stick it in there to get it wet, my sugar wet. So about 2 teaspoons of sugar, whoop, it'll be good. And then about a half teaspoon. MSG is not bad for you as long as you are not allergic. It's like a lot of things, so don't eat too much, but it adds so much. That whole pot of curry, you just need like a 1/4 teaspoon to a half teaspoon of MSG. Okay. Oh, and then I need to add some salt. So about a teaspoon or a half teaspoon of salt. I think I said teaspoon, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. And you could add more salt too. Now, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna check on my rice noodles. It's fine. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna turn my curry on down a little bit because I'm trying to do so many things. Oh. That's a good, perfect. So, I'm gonna turn that off. Turn my rice noodle off. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna let it sit there for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and add my onions. Turn up my fire. Let it cook for a sec. Okay. Let me see. I did not find a place to put my curry. Okay, here. I'm gonna just put my noodles in here. Okay, you can also drain your noodles. If you're gonna stir fry these noodles, I would drain them. But I'm gonna just serve this with curry, so I'm just gonna do a rough drain and take it out like they do in Italy. You know how they just pull the pasta out. All right, we're almost there. And of course, if you don't want to waste all these noodles, you can drain them. Now the noodles might be a little cold once you're ready to serve it, but that's okay. Rice noodles get cold quickly because your curry is going to be hot, so it doesn't matter. That's good enough for now. So I'll move that aside. I'll turn that off. Okay, now I'm going to finish my curry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my, see how there's some uncooked chicken left? That's fine. We're gonna add our coconut milk. So use your spatula so that you don't waste any. Now, this coconut milk looks almost like coconut cream. It's amazing. It's this brand. There's a couple really good brands like this. Chicao is available at most stores. And also there's Aroy D. You just have to be careful. Try to get, there's one brand that I do not like, and it's supposedly made in Thailand. What is it? Sorry, but it's Taste of Thai, and it does not, it tastes so watered down even though they made it in Thailand. So I'm gonna have to throw it out there. To be honest with you, don't want to waste your money. But most of the time I like to go to the Asian store because it's cheaper. You can buy a case. If you make a lot of Thai food, just get a case. So much cheaper. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and add all my stuff. Whoops, here we go. I'm gonna break that apart a little bit. See, lots of veggies. It's so good. And you can be liberal with veggies. And I'm gonna see how bland that looks until we add our red pepper. So I'm just gonna cut my red pepper up. And then we need to get chicken broth going. I forgot about my chicken broth. So So chicken broth, we don't always have chicken broth on hand, but some people do. It's a good storage food. Stores pretty well in a can or in a container. I don't know if I'm gonna add all of these, but okay, so for these, I'm going to do little squares just to add. You can also a little bit more different shapes, you know. So I'm not gonna add all my peppers here. That was a really, really big red pepper. Just to add some color. Okay, now I'm gonna add some water. It calls for 1 cup of chicken broth. So I'm going to use my chicken paste. So I'm gonna add about a cup of water, which is for the broth, and get my paste out. Here's my chicken paste. I love this better than broth paste. It's like amazing. If you don't have this, you can use bouillon, but honestly, I love this much better. Oh, this should be fine. So this is a tablespoon, so we only need like about 1.5 teaspoons. So each teaspoon makes about a cup. So I'm gonna stick that in there and let it come out. Ah! So that's gonna add a lot of flavor to your curry. Now, the reason this, again, it's not in Thailand. Okay, so we have this, in America, we have all these amazing things already ready. That's why we can make it so quickly. But in Thailand, oh my gosh, and if you have the time, they take the chicken bones, you cut up whole chicken, and you throw it in there, and you just simmer for a long time before you do your final coconut milk and stuff, and it's so good because you have this fresh bone broth, and you have these pieces of chicken bone that you can just eat the chicken of along with your soup, and you taste all the spiciness. I can taste it when I think about it because it's so spicy. The curry remembrance I have is when, so my dad was in the military. Not my biological dad, but my mom married an American Air Force man after she had us. So anyways, long story short, we were in the process of coming to America. Was that a movie? Anyways, we were in Thailand, in Bangkok, waiting for our visas and passports and things like that. And okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna cover it and let it start cooking. Oh, that's the wrong lid. Okay, so we're gonna get that heated up high so we can simmer some. So anyways, so we were in the process of coming to America and waiting for it. And so but you know, there was 3 of us children and we can't eat hotel food. It's so expensive, right? All the time. So after a while, what we like to do is, so all the employees go under this, I just remember the hotel was like really, really tall building. And then if you kind of go like like a basement almost, like where they park. I don't know if it was underground parking, but it was just under there and there's this area where all the workers, the locals, go to eat. And and I just remember these big, huge pots of curry of all kinds. And I just remember it just smelled so spicy. I could just smell it. But it would just be boiling over and everybody's sitting down like picnic type area. And they would just go and get bowls of curry. And then there would be like chicken bones sticking out. It was so good. So anyways, if you have time to simmer and make fresh curry out of that, I would recommend using the recipe and just stick your chicken bones in there, okay? Okay, so let me clean up a little bit here. That's it. Can you believe it? So easy. I'm gonna let it simmer and I'm going to move everything aside and let me talk about a little bit about bean sprouts. Okay, so bean sprouts, I've seen my mom make bean sprouts. You don't have to have this. Oh my gosh, I'm talking, I just remember I forgot to put bamboo shoots into this, so. Okay, it's in the fridge, I already got it open, I just forgot to pull it out. Oh, here we go. So bamboo shoots, this is so green curry so there's a couple things. The red and the green traditionally has bamboo shoots in it. The yellow is more like they have the potato or the Thai pumpkin, and the massaman has the potato in it, and I like to put sweet potatoes in mine. So, so I love bamboo shoots. You can get this in a can, of course. Usually when you go to like a local grocery store, they have the bamboo shoots are sliced flat, and those are good too. However, I love these little strips, and so you can get these at the Asian store, and on occasion you could find it at some specialty grocery stores. But I'm just gonna add a few bamboo shoots because this adds so much texture. I really could add them all, but look at how heavy it's kind of a thick curry right now. And So I really don't need, it'll simmer down some, but I'm not gonna add too many bean sprouts. But it calls for about a cup, not bean sprout, bamboo shoots. I get those two mixed up all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna add some bamboo shoots in there. And then this is gonna be a topping. So I remember my mom would make her own bean sprouts. She would take a paper towel, wet paper towel, and then she would put the mung beans, and then you would just let it in the fridge, stay in the fridge, and it would just sprout, and you get these pretty crunchy bean sprouts. So anyway, so that's gonna be so good on this. Look, the chicken's almost done. Honestly, we could probably eat it now, but I'm gonna let it get a little bit more hot and have my vegetables a little bit tender. But we might, for the constraint of time, we may go ahead and taste it. So I'm gonna let it simmer for just a second. Oh, I keep with the wrong lid. Look, my pretty pots. Okay. So we have our rice noodles ready. Look how easy. This is real time stuff, you guys. It's so easy. All right, let me get me, here's some bowls, and I'm gonna give them a fork to taste. So this is my husband from Alabama, meat potato guy, does not love Asian food. And I can make it from every day, but this is his favorite curry. He loves this green curry over rice noodles. So well, we're gonna do that for him. All right. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do, because the chicken is already cooked, even though the vegetables are a little bit more crunchy than what you would normally do for a curry, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and serve it up. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really pretty, right? So I'm gonna serve it up, and you don't even really need to garnish it. You could put some basil in there, or a mint leaf, I suppose. Thai basil. I'll let the rest cook a little bit longer. All right, there's some curry and there's some of that. And then I'll let it simmer, turn this down a little bit. And I'm going to get out my noodles. So you could do this ahead. The only thing, rice noodles, like I said, cools really quickly, but you could still do this ahead and then warm it up with like boil some water. Like you could make this ahead, let it cool and put it in a bag, Ziploc bag or something. And then when you're ready to serve it, you could boil some water and just dip it in there and warm it up in the water. So let's see. Oh, let me get a little bit curry here. I love the juice. Like I said, people would just dig up and try to get all the chicken meat, but come on, try the juice. So good. That's the yummy part, right? Oh, where did my fork go? Oh, and the bean sprouts. Forgot. I'm going to add bean sprouts over here just so it looks kind of cool there. Got a few bean sprouts. This adds so much crunch. I love this. Okay, let the noodles get in there. Hungry on my first episode. Oh, this is so good. Okay, I taste a little bite. I think I added a little bit more than 2 tablespoons, but it's perfect. Wow, this is so good. Even if I do say so myself. I know it sounds so weird, like I'm bragging. I made it, it's so good. Anyways, but you guys see how quickly that came together? And I just chopped it really quickly. So a couple of, before we go, a couple of make ahead tips again. Get a bunch of chicken, you know, slice it and weigh it about a pound per batch. So this batch would feed, I like to guesstimate for adults, about 5 people. And if there's children, maybe like 6. But if you make a batch for about 5 adults. But I like to have leftovers, and it's so yummy. So you can make it, you know, a adult batch for a lot of kids. And what else? So the chicken, and then that's it. Look at how easy it is. You're gonna start making rice. I mean, you're gonna start making Thai food every week. So don't forget, I have a cookbook out. I'm not sure if it's available on Amazon. You can check Cedar Fort Press, or you can just message me. So until next time, happy cooking.